Good evening and welcome to Aberdeen Airport, and tonight I'm going to attempt to take the King Air 350 to Orkney, to Kirkwall, and it's sort of late-ish. I'll have a quick look on the map. If I zoom out a bit, you can see that in southern England here it's starting to get quite dark, but hopefully up here in Aberdeen and up to Orkney here we've got enough light to see. The weather in Kirkwall at the moment is reasonable on the METAR. It's a few scattered at 016, overcast 047 VFR. I'd quite like to do a visual approach, and the wind is currently 160. It's kind of favouring runway 09, so if anything I'd like to come in, get down to 2,000 feet, descend dead side and do a right hand circuit for runway 09. So we'll try that. Hopefully the weather will be decent enough. So the routing is going to be pretty simple. The wind at the moment, as you can see here, is from the south, so we'll take off runway 16 at Aberdeen, turn round, go back up here to ADN, up to Smoky, up to Wick, and then Kirkwall, although we may sort of cut the corner and assume we've been given a direct Kirkwall once we get sort of maybe to the wind farm or something. Okay, that's the plan. It's been a little while since I've flown anything, so I'll have to see if I can remember how to get all the lights and things turned on. So let's jump in. Everything's cold and dark at the moment, and okay, so the first thing I guess we'll do is get some power on.
Engaging autopilot.
And some lights. I think the master panel lights, and I think we want a little bit of pilot overhead floodlight. Let's try that to start with and see how it goes. We've got sufficient fuel. We've got working controls. Parking brake is set. We will turn on the beacon. If we can remember where the beacon is. There we go. Now, controls. I think I've probably still got my controls set for the jet. So let me just fix the controls. Apologies for that. So I wish it was like X-Plane, where it would, and I don't know if there is actually a way to do this. If anyone knows, perhaps you could comment, where it will automatically select a profile based on the plane, or you can tie a profile to an aircraft like X-Plane does. It's annoying having to remember to go and do it manually. Anyway, maybe there's a plugin or something that does it. Okay, controls should be sorted now. Great. Okay, so make sure the mixture's cut off, props fill forward, throttle back to idle, and we might as well just get an engine going here. And now we have to start this Avionics display to see with the GTN 750 mod. You don't see your engine parameters without this display on, so we'll need to turn on Avionics Master. We are going to check everything's clear. We've got the beacon on. We're going to leave us in the correct position. There's no fuel boost pumps turn on the 350. Everything's as it should be. So we're good to start. So right engine starter. We're looking for N1 of about 20%, and then introduce fuel. Oh no, 12, not 20, 12. Yeah, okay, let's get some fuel in now. And we should start to see ITT come up, hopefully not further than the green. We're also looking at the N1. When it reaches 50%, we'll turn the right engine starter off. There we go. And then we can turn on the right gen. And we'll put the right engine on high idle just to get the battery recharging. Check the generator is working. Yeah, that's good. Okay, looks like a good start. So we'll go for the left engine, using the right engine generator to assist. Left engine starter on again. We're looking for one about 12%. Mixture coming in. Watch the temperature. Keep an eye on the N1 at 50%, we'll turn the starter off. And the left gen can come on. Check the left gen output. Looks good. And we can bring both levers back now to low idle. Okay, engine's running. Oh. Anti-ice should have been on for the start. Let's put it on now. I assume there's nothing that's going to be sucked in at the start, but there might be on taxi. So on the ground, taxi, start and taxi should have anti-ice on. Okay. Yeah, I should have done a sort of. I keep forgetting to do the flow pattern checks. Okay. We will get the flight plan in now. Hopefully, fairly straightforward. So we're at, let's get this, let's zoom in a bit. We're at Aberdeen. And we go to Kirkwall. And we're going to go via, well actually the ADN we'll get from the SID anyway, so we'll just put Smoky and Wick in. Now that said something about duplicates found, but then didn't ask me to do anything about them. Let's try that again. This doesn't look too good. Smoky, United Kingdom. Okay, I don't know what happened there. 36 miles, that's about right. And we'll also add Wick VOR, which these are the points on Airway Yankee 904, which is the standard routing. And now we've got two Smokies. Great. Okay, let's try and remove this one. Hey, that's worked. Okay. Sometimes, I don't know, I've had funny, I don't know whether there's some funny Navigraph data or what, but sometimes recently I've had some weird. Let's just double check on the map that it looks about right. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay. Let's do a departure, I suppose, as well, such as it is. Procedure, departure, ADN, and runway 16, and it's just a case of sort of runway heading, then a left turn. Let's just have, let's just have a look on the flight plan and see what that's done. Nah, okay, so it doesn't really. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the turning. 820 feet is your turning point. It's either 820 feet or 1 point something miles. I can't remember the on the chart. Let's have a quick look on the chart. Charts for Aberdeen. Sorry, I think I just turned my microphone volume down there. Right, charts for Aberdeen. Let's just get the charts up quickly, just to look at the departure. Yeah, so it's this one, and it's turn at D8 or 820, whichever is later. Okay, fine. That's why it's got 820 in here, and then ADN. So what that also means is we should tune in the VOR, and then we do that over here on the nav radios. So the Aberdeen VOR is it 114? Yeah, 114.3. We'll just do that so we can get an accurate distance readout. I don't know why. Oh, did I not transfer it over there? Nav on frequency. Active for, yeah, I didn't do the transfer. Okay, cool. Yeah, 6.9. Yeah, fine. We've got distance readout now, and so that, yeah, so that turn is at 8.5, 8.3, D8. from ADN. So that's when we'll start our turn. Okay, let's get altimeter set and set our cruise altitude. The maximum height for airway Yankee 904 is 15,000 feet. We're going sort of west-ish, so we'll go for 14,000. So that's set. That should be everything pretty much set. I like to leave this map sort of more zoomed in and this one more zoomed out, although not quite as zoomed out as that. So let's just zoom in a bit here. In fact, let's just check where our routing. Yeah, our routing does look sort of okay. Alright, fine. Okay. I think we're sort of good to taxi now then. We would be arming all to feather. We're not going to use flaps. Trim, we just have a bit of up trim. I think we're good to taxi. Transponder we will do when we get to the holding point for the runway. Let's get the taxi lights on. And we'll do the ice and pitos when we're nearer the runway. Engine anti-ice is on for taxi. That's all fine. We've set our altimeter, we've set our cruise level. Let's make sure we've got nav set up. So we want the nav source here to be FMS at least to start with. And we'll want, let's go nav flight director, and we'll press the toga button for takeoff. Okay, right, let's go. Let's turn. Which way's going to mow down the fewest people? Let's try left. Actually, maybe right. Oh, right's got more equipment. We'll go left. So. The warning we've got there is no separator on and no pitot heap, that's fine. And runway heading we should set as well, which is 160. So, a few clouds here, Aberdeen, but looks like it's only a thin layer. Now this runway I don't think is normal. I'm not even sure if this is really a runway. I think it's normally used. Just gonna come to a stop here before the main runway to do a quick run up just to check the prop. So let's get some power in until we get some prop RPM in, and then we'll try and pull back on the prop lever. Yep. Again. That looks good. Back to maximum. Okay. Let's try and get rid of some of these warnings now. So let's do transponder can go to Alt, and we can turn on so it's the hot 5 as it's called. Pitos, store warning, fuel vents. Don't think we need any anti-ice yet. We'll turn on strobes, landing lights, off with the taxi lights, on with the nav light. We'll turn on we'll turn off the anti-ice on the runway. Bleeds are not simulated, but they're on. Oh, pressurization. There's one I should have remembered earlier. So we should have cabin set for 14,000. And this dial for some reason is very slow to turn. In fact, I think 14,000 is almost right back at the bottom, or sort of minimum setting. Which means which is good in a way, because it means we don't need to touch it again for our landing. So we'll just set it sort of around about there and leave it. Okay, cool. I think these can go. We've still got inertial separator on, but that's why we're going to turn that off in a minute. And we have a parking brake warning, but that's expected. Okay, let's turn onto the runway and make our departure. It all looks clear. This runway heading until D8, and then a left turn. So let's just verify that this is 16. Yep, we are lined up. Inertial separator off. We're good to go. So advance the power, keeping the ITT and torque below the red lines. Airspeed coming alive. It's 80 knots. And we'll rotate around about on 110. And there we go. Pull back. Gear up. Pitch up. No flaps to worry about. Landing lights are in the wheels, so landing lights come off now. Recog lights should have been on, let's put them on. Let's get that pitch back up. Watch our distance. Coming up to D8. 7.8. And now we can start our turn. Don't want to let the speed get higher than about sort of 160 to 170 at the moment, really. We're above 1,000 feet now, so we can bring the prop RPM back to 1,600. Watching the torque as we do it. And hopefully we can follow the flight director now. We just want to get ourselves onto an intercept course for ADN VOR, really. Yeah, it's fairly sort of, hopefully fairly thin cloud. So that's a reasonable intercept course coming up now, so what we'll do is we'll just start to come out of the turn. And what we can do now is let's sync the heading. Let's go heading mode. We'll go flight level change, and we'll turn the autopilot on. And in fact, we can bring this. Let's bring the speed back a bit. 170 should be fine. We're climbing quite strongly now, so let's just do a quick check. So we've got, and we can turn auto feather off now, although it's not working. We could turn prop sync on if that was simulated. Pitot can stay on. Engine anti-ice is not yet needed. The lights, we've turned off the landing lights. Cabin pressurization doesn't really need to do anything. Prop is back at 1600. ITT and torque are all fine. Oil temp looks good. I'm not sure if oil pressure is good. I'm guessing it should be. We're going above transition altitude now, so let's go to standard pressure. We're climbing to 14k. Red from the sunset and the clouds, I guess. We do have some cloud layers now. Maybe let's maybe turn engine anti-ice back on. Actually, no, hang on. Yeah, we probably want that, and we probably want auto ignition as well. In terms of other icing controls, we've got windshield. Yeah, we should probably set that to normal. Should have probably done that maybe before departure, just to warm everything up. Yeah, we're definitely in some cloud now, and the outside air is -2, so we could be in icing conditions. Let's just have a quick lighting check from outside. So we've got strobes, nav, recog should be on as well. Coming up to 10,000 feet now. We've already turned off the landing lights. We might as well turn the recog light off now as well. Put that back on approach. Hopefully we can come out above this layer, but at the moment it's looking like we're stuck in it. Closing in on our flight path magenta line now, so I'll switch to nav mode in a second. It's very orange. It's almost like we're on Titan or something. Okay, let's go nav. We are heading for Smoky, which is the next waypoint. How are we doing for altitude? Still climbing. Oh, rate of climb's dropped. It's probably because I've either knocked the throttles back or I haven't. Actually, we've lost a fair bit of power here, even though I hadn't pushed the throttles forward. I wonder if that is anything to do with ice. Sorry, I wasn't keeping an eye on the climb right there. We're almost maxing out ITT as well now. This is definitely climbing slower than usual. And it's a pretty horrible cloud. I always wonder about the visual approach now. This field here is handy. It's one of the fields you can put on the GTN 750, so the distance to the destination, because that's useful for helping with top of descent calculation. Right, coming up on 13,000 now. Definitely not climbing as we should be. What have I done wrong? Power lever is full forward. RPM, prop RPM is where it should be. Maybe is it just the fact we've got engine anti-ice on? And the auto ignition is not going to slow anything down. That's just there if the engine stalls due to ice or ingestion or whatever. And there we've got ice build up. Maybe this is just icing on the props. Actually, good point there. Did we have prop de-ice? Whoops. Yeah, that should have been turned on. Maybe we should do a surface as well. We're definitely being slowed down by something. Can we see any other ice build up on the outside? There's a bit on the nose there. Not really seeing anything. Oh, there's a bit on the prop. Whatever that bit's called. I can't remember the name of that. There's some there by the nacelles, but I'm not seeing anything on the wings themselves. Okay, it's pretty nasty icing conditions then. Okay, we're almost at 14k now. I'm gonna take the prop RPM back to 1500. I'm at full power here, which I don't think I normally am at this sort of height, because I think it's normally limited by torque. So, and I mean we should be. What ground speed are we getting? 243. Yeah, we should be more like 270. Oh well. No speed records tonight. As you can see, though, we're actually almost coasting out now. Not that we can see anything. Let's just double check the flight plan. Waypoints, just so we know when, if we're going to get sort of the waypoint distance to descend. So if we go flight plan, we've got, and then Kirkwall. Okay, yeah, so it's basically the direct distance. The final waypoint is the airport, which is fine if we're going to attempt to do a visual approach. We do have to think about descent though. So for the visual approach from the overhead join, we want to come down to 2,000 feet. We're at 14, so we've got 12 to lose, so we want to descend 36 miles. And I want to give ourselves a little bit of time. So let's say 40 miles before Kirkwall. So the easiest way to do that is simply to wait for the distance to destination to be 40 miles and start the descent. And in preparation for that, I'm going to set our selected altitude, turn that down to 2,000 feet, which is what we're going to want to be at for the overhead join. And we're beginning to see some clear skies, which is great. Spoke too soon. Maybe it's just around Aberdeen that there was more cloud. Oh, looks nice up there. It's kind of weird here because the flight plan display over here is showing the next waypoint is Wick, which is correct. I mean, it's magenta's finally changed over here as well. That's okay. Seems to be a gap there. Oh well, we've got some really weird lighting now. Look at this. Still got ice. Got a fair amount now actually, and we've got wing ice. Okay, I think I need to do something with surface de-ice. Should I switch it to manual? I mean, what does that even mean? Single manual? I mean, none of them stick. Hopefully we're out of the clouds now. Ah, yeah, look, we're speeding up. I think we can now, probably for now, turn off inertial separator and auto ignition. Oh, yeah, now we're way bang over the torque limit, so it's good to know these things are modelled. We should get some speed back now as well. I'll leave the windshield on heat on the normal setting. Yeah, see our ground speed now is way up near 270 where it should be. That's great. There's still a fair amount of ice there, so I think I'll leave the prop. Maybe I should leave some of the. I should leave the inertial separator on. Let's risk it. In case there might be bits of ice that melt off now and then get sucked into the engine. Yeah, I'm going to put it back on. Goodbye performance. Well, let's see if that's what's causing the performance drop. I think it is because the torque went way back down to 80. Yeah, it's definitely that. So it's good to know that it's modelled. So back on full power now. We're maintaining a reasonable speed, so that's fine. So yeah, I kind of said that at some point we should just assume we've got a direct to Kirkwall to cut out going all the way into Wick. I wanted to kind of get to the Beatrice wind farm and have a look at that because that's lit up at night. Well, it may not be dark enough, but there's too much cloud, so kind of pointless. So I'll leave it a little bit and then we'll go direct to Kirkwall. Let's just have a look at the clouds for a bit. So I think we're all right on icing stuff because we still have prop on auto and we have engine. And what are the wings doing there? And the wings are still okay on this side. I wonder if that's simulating where the sun's hitting, or is it not that clever? And the icing's a lot better now than it used to be. If you remember when the whole plane just used to get covered in ice in no time, now it seems to be a lot more realistic. Although I'm not sure you'd see ice on places like that, but you might. Definitely with the clouds now. Okay, I don't know, one of these surface de-ices, I suppose. I mean, I said that side looks okay anyway. Still on full power, but we've got a reasonable speed, 270 ground speed now. 269 TAS, side wind. And that, in terms of nav, we may as well tune in Kirkwall VOR. So I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll tune in Kirkwall VOR and we'll also get nav 1 ready, just to lined up with the runway to give us some situational awareness. So Kirkwall VOR is 108.6. So nav 108.6 and transfer. We're not picking it up quite yet. The other thing I'll do is I'm just going to go heading mode for a second, and I'm going to change the nav source to be VOR1. I'm going to set its course to be 090, which is the runway heading, and that'll help us out when we come to do our circuit visual approach. Let's go back to FMS for now, and back to nav. How's our icing looking? About the same. Wings are clear. Other wing. Yeah, still a little bit. Not much. Ice on the top there, no, just the way it was angled. Shame we can't see anything, but I think it might be about time to cut the corner. So let's assume, especially as we're a medical flight, although this is not an emergency, let's assume that, and it's pretty quiet this time of night, ATC is going to give us a direct, so we will go. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Can we do it from the flight? No, we don't. We do it from the map. Well, you can do it with the there's a button down here, which I by default it's not hooked up, but you can hook it up. But let's do it. The other way you can do it is there's a direct to, which you can enable in options on the map. And you can pick one of your waypoints, so let's go for Kirkwall, and then you have to activate, and there you go, we're now direct to Kirkwall. And what else do I need to know? Let's go back. Yeah, and we have 40 miles to the destination, which is strange enough when we need to start descending, so let's get VS mode. And let's go, what's our ground speed? It's about 270, so 5.2, so about 1400 feet per minute. So let's go, and we've already selected altitude 2000, so let's go VS, and we will go 1400. And we will bring the power back, otherwise we're gonna, I'll leave the icing on because we're gonna hit clouds. I don't really want to speed up, so let's just maintain our current airspeed for now. We'll need to slow down for the circuit anyway when we get a bit nearer. Oh, we're still on nav. Let's just make sure we're still on nav mode. It says that we're on roll. That's weird. Why are we not on nav mode? Maybe we're approaching? Ah, FMS, okay. I don't know what happened there. Maybe it was doing the direct to, bumped it off. Yeah, we've got Kirkwall VOR now as well, coming alive, so we could actually switch to that. I will stay on this for a minute, for now at least. So if we could see anything, we'd see Wick off a beam to the left there. Going to be hitting the clouds again in a minute, and we're just going to have to hope that when we come out, that we've got some visibility. So when we get to 10,000, we'll put the record light back on. I suppose we should set local QNH, which, well, according to Little Nav Map, it is 1014. So let's go for that. These are all in inches. Great. Hang on. I mean, you can cheat and do the Shift B. Let me just do a quick. So it's 1014, 1013, times 29.92. Does that sound about right? I think it is. It's pretty much going to be on. I mean, it's pretty much standard pressure, so it's 29.94, so we don't really need to change it much. I will do Shift B when we get down below. In fact, Shift B will probably work now, but let's leave it for now. I mean, hopefully it'll be about right. So we're still descending okay. How far we got to 30 miles, so we've got about 9,000 feet to lose. Yeah, we're at 10, heading for 2, so we're fine, I think, on the descent rate. In fact, we probably can start to ease it back in a minute, because our ground speed will come down and we can sort of bring it back. Let's hope this is a shallow cloud layer, or at least let's hope that we come out of it. We've got a decent visibility at circuit height. I think it might be worth turning auto ignition on here for the clouds and the ice. We've still got our other ice protection on. Yeah, some of it's melted off the props now. Still cold. It's only -2. It may start to warm up as we get lower. It's 10,000 feet now. I'm going to turn the record light on. I can't remember. Let's just remind myself what the flap speeds are on this, just for when we get to the approach. So gear is 180, approach flap's 200, and full flap, yeah, 160 for full down flap. So gear and about 160, and then full flap can come after that. Probably about 140, I think, is when I normally use full flaps. We're in this sort of the Titan clouds again, methane or whatever they are. So we're proceeding here. We're sort of abeam John O'Groats now on the north coast. And Orkney is not far away, and you know, we've done this sort of route a few times before, and normally if you're on the IFR, you'd start to turn onto the arc either here or here, depending on whether you're going for runway 09 or 27. But the visual approach is routinely used, although you normally would only get a visual approach if you had the runway in sight, which you could do from about here normally if it was clear. But so we're kind of cheating a bit in that we're kind of hoping that a visual approach is going to be possible, which is not normally what you'd get, but never mind, we'll see. I suppose we should tune the ILS as well, in case let's at least get that entered as a secondary frequency in case everything goes wrong. We have to kind of do an instrument landing. So the ILS is 110 110.1. So let's just put that in as the secondary frequency, and we'll put it on nav 2. So 1101 and enter that. So that's now a secondary frequency, and we'll put it on nav 2 as well. Nav 2. And we'll actually transfer on nav 2. And in fact, we're picking it up. So there you go. It's already within range. How are we doing for descent? Ground speed's back to 240. I think it's time to shallow out our descent a bit here. Let's go for 1200. Because we've got 4,000 feet to lose, and we've got 12 miles. Yeah, a bit over 12 miles, so we're fine. We should be fine. Let's sync the heading. And we're beginning to see the ground, which is great, although I'm not quite sure how good the visibility is going to be. Yeah, it's fine now. I think we're going to be okay. Just got to find the airport. I start thinking about getting the speed back, I suppose. 10 miles away, so that's probably it. So in fact, yeah, let's get our speed back now. Back nearer maybe 180. So if I haven't left it too late, at least with the turboprop you can slow down quite quickly. once we see the field, then we'll... In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go sync the heading again, and go heading mode, so that I can switch this to nav 1 to give us better guidance for our approach. So that's Hoy, this is the mainland, so the airport should be somewhere here, actually, shouldn't it? So we're not down at 2000 yet. I think this is the airport here, isn't it? Yep, there we go. So we're going to approach, I want to approach this end of runway 09, descend dead side, and then come back round for a right hand circuit. That's the plan. So let's just head a little bit left. And we now probably want to engage auto feather, turn off prop sync. We've got all the lights we need on. We'll turn on the landing lights once the gear's gone down. We're not quite at 2,000 feet yet, but we should be by the time we reach. It's quite hard to see runway, that's because there's two runways. I think this is 0927 here, only not lit up very well, because it should be in line with this VOR pointer. And in fact we're almost at 2,000 feet, just in time. So that's the town of Kirkwall over there, just to the left. Now then, going to be crossing over the airport, which makes it hard to see, but just watch that speed now. I mean, 160 is fine. Don't want to really get any slower than that without flaps, so we've got, we should have, this should be a bearing pointer for nav 1, so tell you what we'll do, when that flips we know we've crossed over the airport, and we can start our turn dead side and our descent. So I'm going to disengage the autopilot now. So hand flying now, there's the VOR needle starting to go. I think we're going to say that we're, in fact we can cheat and see on here that we're just over the runway. We still got all the ice on, so in fact let's get all this ice stuff off now. Even prop ice can come off. Okay, let's get descending. So we want to descend dead side. And ideally we want to be joining the, we want to join the circuit at the numbers on the runway 27 end. So let's go to about 1100 feet for circuit height. I think we're going to be a little bit past the end of the runway here. Yeah, the runway's over there, so we're a little bit, should have gone out a bit further and lined up a bit better, but let's just trim now to stay level. Okay, we can now start. There's the runway. We're not that far away from the threshold end. So effectively we're now going crosswind. Just watch that speed. We could bring out a notch of flaps. Well, I think I'll do that on the downwind. There's the runway we want to land on, obviously we want to land from the other end. Okay, let's turn downwind. And it is luckily a nice clear night here in Orkney below the clouds. Okay, so we should be lined up on the downwind now. Just watch our altitude. It's quite hard to see runway 09 for some reason. Maybe we're a bit too close. We'll give ourselves plenty of room here on the downwind. We're coming to the end of the downwind now. I'm going to select one notch of flaps. Let's just get our altimeter. Yeah, it was okay. So let's go one notch of flaps. Let's start to bring the prop RPM forward. Let's turn now base. We should be descending, which we're not. I'm going to try and avoid overflying Kirkwall itself. And there's the runway, and we are very high, and we're definitely going to make the runway, so let's do gear and final flaps. Not one of my better circuits, but watch that we don't want to let the speed get too low. Probably about 110. And we can put the landing lights on now. And we got one red on the Pappy, so that's not too bad. We have got a bit of a crosswind, so this could be interesting. And this, am I going to be able to stay on the runway after landing is the question. Going to get ready for full right rudder and right aileron, although the right aileron doesn't really seem to help very much. Got the landing lights on. Okay. I'm going to transition now. Wing low and rudder. And we're down. Okay, we're down, so we can start to take the flaps up. I'm going to look at exiting here. Quite dark now in Kirkwall, actually. You can go, whoops. You can go taxi lights, strobes can come off. Transponder can go back to standby. How are we doing for trim? Let's get, that's about right. We can turn off pitos. Stall, fuel vents, all can come off. I think we've got all the engine anti-ice off. Windshield can probably go off. Yes, I think for that sort of descending dead side we should have maybe started a bit further left of the end of the runway, and then we would have been able to, because what you're looking to do is to join the circuit at circuit height, and you want to join sort of above the numbers where people are just taking off. So we were a little bit, I'll show you the route on the track that we ended up with on little nav map in a minute once we've stopped. We'll just park over here by this jet. Okay, so parking brake can come on, taxi light can come off, some of these warnings can come off. I think we've turned most other things off, so I'm going to pull back the fuel levers and feather the props. And we should have the engine shutting down. We can turn off avionics now. Is there anything else we need to shut off? I suppose we should shut off the gens. The lights, nav lights can come off, record light can come off. We're shut down now, I think, so beacon, let's just have a quick look outside. Yeah, beacon can come off now. And we can turn off the power. And that's us. Let's just have a quick look at how we ended up on the route. So if we get little nav map out, I'll show you the overall route. So this was our departure from Aberdeen with the left turn towards ADN VOR, and then onto the airway Yankee 904. You can see here. We took that to Smoky. And then we did turn around the wind farm. We cut the corner at Wick here, went direct, and we flew in. We got to 2,000 feet here. We flew in. We should have, yeah, I mean, if we'd been over here a bit, that would have been better. We'd have also been able to see the airfield. So I guess that's the thing. If you're doing a overhead join, give yourself, enough spacing on your approach so you can see the runway. And then we would have been able to sort of descend and cross the threshold here in a better position. As it is, we ended up like this. This is then the circuit we ended up on. So downwind, this is our cross base turn, and this is our approach. So yeah, that's it for tonight. Just fancied a quick go in the King Air. I'd like to do another flight in the longitude again soon. So that's probably going to be the next one. But for now, thank you for watching, and see you next time.